Hey besties, so what I'm working on today is some sublimation socks, and I'm going to be doing this in Silhouette Studios. I do typically use Photoshop, but I know Photoshop is a paid software, and some people don't want another subscription, so I'm doing it in Silhouette, which is a free software. You do not have to have a Silhouette. You can use the basic version or the business version, which is like $50 to $100 depending on if they have any sales or not. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull in my images. So I'm gonna go here to merge, and I'm gonna drop in the front of my sock. I'm just gonna click on it, and my little, I guess, toolbar comes up here, and so I'm going to make this a width of 4.5, and it defaults to 7.5, which is basically how I want it. And this is going to be for an extra large pair of socks. Okay. The jig itself is 4.5 inches in width, so that's not going to change, but the length can change depending on, from a size small sock to a large size sock or extra large size sock. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go here to object, go to mirror, and flip horizontally. Okay, now I'm gonna do a right click and I'm gonna duplicate. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in the back, and that's this piece right here. I'm gonna do the same thing, change my dimensions to 4.5. Don't forget to mirror. Okay, now I'll move this over and then right click, duplicate. So if somebody sends you a picture of something they want, you don't really have to make any changes to it. These socks are super easy. If it's something that you have to design, then you're going to, spend a little bit more time on that. But I didn't do this design. This was done by somebody else, and I just decided to make him these socks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my print page setup. I just want you guys to see. I have 5 printers, so I have to change my printer. I have to, or it could go to anyone. So I'm going to set up my 7720, and I'm going to print on Super B paper. You can also change that here, but you want this part done before you go to print. Okay, so now I'm going to go to, and you can also change the orientation here if you need to. I'm going to go to OK. I have them set up, and I'm going to go ahead and press print. And we'll walk through this piece as well. So I'm going to go and hit print. I'm going to make sure that my correct printer is selected here. I am going to go to color matching, and I'm going to make sure that it's on Epson color controls. Then I'm going to go to print settings, and I'm going to make sure it has where my paper is going to feed from, which is going to be the rear paper slot. The premium presentation paper mat, it looks very good with this A-sub paper that I'm using. And I'm going to do normal print quality. I'm going to go to color options, and normally it would kind of look like this. Just click that arrow and then select Adobe RGB. Okay, and let's see here. I think that pretty much covers everything. When you're on one of these drop downs, it tells you here destination paper size. So you've already selected that from your print setup, so that's why it's going to show. It's not going to let you select it necessarily here. And now I'm going to press print. Here's my printout. These these are the 2 back pieces, 2 front pieces right here. Okay, so I am going to just cut this. Okay, so here are my printouts. My socks are on the jig here. You want to measure your socks. So don't take my measurements, because each jig is going to be a different size. Like the ones that come with this company are probably going to be a different size than what these are. So don't use my measurements. Make sure that when you do anything from a small size sock to a large, you measure the sock, okay? So this is 4.5, it's about 4.4, but I did 4.5 to add a little bit of bleed for the side of the sock. And then measuring here, this is about 7, little over 7, but I made it to 7.5. That's just to make sure you're not going to see any white part once you press those on, okay? So this is heat tape. I got it from Amazon. It lasts a very long time. Well, it lasts me a very long time, but it really just depends on how often you're going to be doing, you know, mugs or socks or whatever, okay? But I think I had done about 75 mugs and I still had tape, so it's gonna last you a good little while. And there's different sizes of it. So I'm just basically pulling this down all the way to the edge. You want to make sure it's mirrored and everything before you press. So I'm just sliding that down, and there we go. And then I add another piece of tape at the bottom, just to make sure that it doesn't shift around or anything like that before you press, okay? Okay, so again, you're just double checking your work because I have pressed something upside down, and that is why I suggest that everybody start with the cheap socks from like Amazon. I believe I'll put them down below in the description box, but they're like $16 for 6 pair, because these are $6 per pair, and you don't want to mess up, you know, something like that. So let's go over to the press. You also want to make sure that you're putting the image on the right side, because I do have a front and a back to my sock. So when you're putting it on, always check that you know, it is going to be on the front. This is the back. And then when you press, don't put that piece on the press, because that gives it a little bit of a lump. So just, you know, make sure that it's, I don't know if you can really see that, but just make sure that piece is going to be at the edge of your heat press, okay? And then you want to have some parchment paper, 2 sheets. I have one for the top, one for the bottom. And then 400 degrees for 45 seconds. All right, so that's very hot. All right, so here is the fronts. Now I'm gonna flip this over, and I'm just rolling the sock. So you want to see the image on the edges of the sock, okay? So this one you can kind of see a bit more white. This one you can see a bit more print, okay? So I'm gonna add in my image in over. Again, make sure you're doing it the top matching to the top. make sure that this part right here isn't above or below your sock. That way you'll know that you're pressing that into your image. All right, so you see how that came out, and this. So I'm going to use my heat gloves. I got these from, I think, 99-cent store, so not expensive. And then I'm just gonna pull them off, and then pull this off. So I wanted to go over a few things with you guys regarding the socks. These are done, of course, and again, you want to roll the sock before you press the back side of it, just to ensure that you are going to get that seamless look. There are times, like you see that little small piece, so there are times when you'll see that seam, and it just looks much better if you have a seamless picture. Your size is on the sock here in the back, so like these are larges, and there's the side sock size. When you put it on your jig, depending on how, if you want, you know, the sides to be your main focal point, then you'll leave them as they come. If you want the front, like I did here, you're gonna spread that out like that and just match it up so you know that you have an even amount in the front and the back, and then slip it on to your jig just like this. Okay, I got these jigs from Etsy mainly because I had already ordered the socks, and it takes about a week, and they're pretty local to me, so I figured I'd just order them from the supplier that had them on Etsy, and they arrived to me in a day. So going back to Silky socks, they actually give you the sock bag that goes with the sock size. So that's something that you do not have to purchase if you purchase from this company. So I've only purchased from this company, and also the practice socks I got from Amazon. Okay, so I'll link both down below. And the paper that I used is a sub, and I use a 13x19 sheet. The reason is because I can just cut off the piece that I didn't use, and these are about the same size for my mugs, so I'll save those for my mug strips. Other than that, I used Cosmos ink. I used my Epson 7720. I have a 15x15 heat press, and that's about it. And parchment paper, and that's really what you need for this. But I will put everything that's needed down below in the comments. So again, if you guys have any questions regarding sublimation socks, let me know down below in the comments. I thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.